Hello and welcome. I'm Jess Campmans, guided by Equus, with your Horse Wisdom Insights for the week of March 15th. I'm here with my young horses, and we've shifted some horses around in the last week, which kind of feels like it's part of the way this coming week we're being delivered into, or the message that we need to hear is going to be delivered to us. And the words that I got actually just before I turned the video on and was tuning into this was the well of opportunity. And then what came to me kind of as I just stood with these guys and witnessed what they were doing as I had those words come in, and that well of opportunity, they kept moving me out of the middle of the circle, kind of out ahead of them, and they created this space behind me that feels very instrumental actually in the next piece of the message, which was hidden in the agenda. And so this well of opportunity, well, like the image of a well, like a water well that holds something really deep under the ground, hidden in the agenda. We all, to some extent, at some point in our lives, have this agenda that I'll use the word adhering to. And whether that's in relationship with our ego or with a dream or desire that we had for ourselves that is shifting its form, which we find in this well of opportunity that is down under the surface of the ground. And also, actually, at the same time, hidden in the agenda that we have, that we think we are part of in our lives, or that we've been working towards this thing in our lives. And this week, it's like there's a light being shone down to the bottom of this well that actually is very instrumental in something that will come to each one of us. It feels like in relationship to us that actually is very meaningful. So I hope you guys are kind of following along with me, but it's like we're being given a flashlight that means something to us. So it's like someone's giving us this flashlight, or the universe is giving us this metaphorical flashlight to see into this well of opportunity, that which was hidden in the depths, hidden in the agenda of the reasoning behind creating this well, I guess one could kind of say. And the opportunity is when we can shine that light down and see what exists there as both what's hidden and what the agenda was. And so how this might kind of show up for each one of us, again, can be quite different. But if I bring in my own relationship to the experience of this, last week, or in the last week, I was just kind of really sitting with the fact that all my life I'd wanted to be this horse trainer and known for being a horse trainer. And I finally had to, I sat with that because I have this beautiful herd of horses that continue to lead and guide and show me something else, something beyond the idea of training horses. And what came to me, and I hope that this, I feel like this will be relevant for each one of us in our own way, shape, form, and experiences of life, is that where you are going, if we open ourselves up to this thing that is kind of calling to us, wanting us to become part of this greater experience of who we came here to be, is that not only will we get to fulfill this thing that we've had this agenda or wanting to have had been part of through our lives, but it will be that and so much more. And I forget how the words came in, but it was this understanding of, by saying yes to this thing that is really drawing us towards it, call it your destiny, call it connecting with who you are at a soul level. But by saying yes to that, whatever it was that you were wanting to experience is part of that, because it goes hand in hand with that, and yet there's so much more to it. And so my own relationship with my horses has continued to bring me into these deeper places within myself in connection to who I am as a soul, which is what I'm trying to hopefully relate to you in a way that allows you to tap into that thing, that soul speaking to you, calling you forth into becoming more of who you are in the world. And right now my herd has split. I have Raven, who's gone over to drink water, and the rest of them are eating contentedly over there. And it's like the idea that's just coming is the word split shift, which, if you are familiar with driving a manual standard transmission, I'm not very good at it or very familiar with it, but there's a term called a split shift, which helps transition through the gears. And if you kind of relay that to the gears that we move through, which is always kind of a feedback loop, and both putting out energy and bringing back energy to create more, this split that maybe we have been feeling in the last year or so, that's kind of been forefront in our lives, and maybe this is only my experience of it, but I would love to hear if this is yours too. It's a split between what you thought you wanted and what is actually why you came here. And I guess that's what I was kind of trying to share, is that what you thought you wanted is within the realm of what you came here to experience and become as a soul. And yet when we just shift to that thing that we thought we wanted, we stray from becoming that which our soul is calling to us, which is kind of the reasoning that we came here at this time, to both experience and share the wisdom of how we become this. And I really feel like I'm kind of speaking really far out there, but if you can kind of bring it back into context, Raven is now finished drinking water and going to return to those guys. And ravens speak of the magic of the universe and the what's within the dark, and they are very noisy and loud, and yet they're the truth. They speak this truth in a way that is kind of like the jester or the coyote, where it just is what it is, and it's kind of abiding to those universal laws of when you see it for what it is and you don't deny it, there's this beautiful thing that happens within you and for you, and also into your outer experience. And I feel like I'm now really, and that was Coast, so he's here now. He's my white colored stallion, and he also speaks, his soul wisdom is about rejoicing. And so it's that ability to kind of get that sense of knowing truth from deep inside, knowing and sensing and feeling what it is that is your experience of and truth in relationship to self, who you are. And when you recognize that, there is this rejoicing, because then you don't have to be separate from all of the other things or that dream or desire, because it's all part of you. And taking on the responsibility of answering the calling of your soul, the becoming of it, that you actually fulfill this dream or desire that you had that was potentially what one might call it a hidden agenda. And it becomes this beautiful wellspring from which we draw forth who we are. And now I really feel like I'm kind of getting almost deeper into this way of lyrically channeling this wisdom, which for me actually hasn't happened for, it feels like a couple of years. And it feels good to be able to have the ability to do this again. And so I guess I invite you guys with all of this, that this week, just notice what it is that is wanting you to look into this well of yours and recognize what is maybe hidden there, or what an agenda of yours was that is now shifting form for you to be able to become more expanded through it, like to have that and more, because you're not just, that's no longer just the one thing that is drawing you forth. It's this bigger calling, it's this bigger piece of who you are that the world needs you to share yourself through becoming that, and through stepping into that, and through saying yes to whatever it is, even if it seems crazy or uninvited or unwelcome, or that you don't know how to do it, because really we all know, we all have these answers within us that are ours. And when we continue to tune back into ourselves and get this sense or this feeling of knowing what it is that we want to do, that we need to do to feel fulfilled, and actually doing that for ourselves, our life takes on a whole new shape and form and meaning, because we're actually being that meaning of why we came here at this time. And that can encompass so many things, but each one of us, in just listening to myself, I mean, I know what that is for me, and yet for the last number of years, I think part of me has really wanted it, and part of me has been terrified to step into that. And for many of us, I feel like that might be the thing, because we don't know what the outcome is. And yet, not knowing the outcome, well, can be two ways: really terrifying, or really instrumental and exciting in anticipation of what else is possible. So I will leave all of that with you guys, and I hope I wasn't too far out there. But I would love to hear your experience of this video, and if this is meaningful for you, and if this resonates. And I'm excited to share more, and it feels like there's more coming. And I know I feel like I've been saying that for a long time, but part of all of this is us doing our own exploration of this, for what it means to us, what life means to us, what our work in quotations means to us, what we want to experience. And for me, this last year has been an exploration into all of these pieces, and how do I want to bring them all together. And so I finally feel like I'm kind of coming up from the depths of this exploration in order to hopefully be able to share what I've learned, what I've discovered, where I've found this exploration works to gather greater information as wisdom and knowledge within us, to be able to step into that which really fulfills us. So thanks for staying here and listening for all of this, for yourself. And I look forward to sharing and seeing where all of this takes us into next week. So much love for myself and the horses of Guided by Equus.